G'day everyone, I'm Ben from Crawchie Environmental, and today we wanted to do a short story on how to make homemade turmeric powder. My son Hamish has been working hard on the farm in these times of isolation, and he's put together a short video on the process from harvesting through to the final product. I guess we know that turmeric has a lot of health benefits. The main ones that I'm aware of are that it's quite a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. It's used in a lot of cooking dishes, and I hear that it's even used in smoothies and teas. My personal favourite would have to be putting it in a lamb curry. It brings a really nice warm flavour, warm earthy flavour to the dish, and it's pretty delicious. So today we'll go through the process from harvesting to cleaning, prepping, peeling and slicing, dehydration, and then the final steps to turn it into a powder. We do use the turmeric fresh, but we like to turn it into a powder because that actually can preserve the turmeric for 3 to 4 years if it's stored properly. So hope you enjoy. So we'll start with the growing and harvesting stage. Just a little bit of information about turmeric. It's a native to the monsoon forests in Southeast Asia. It's a perennial herb, and it grows to about 1 metre in height with underground rhizomes or roots. These roots are what we harvest and eat. It actually produces really beautiful white flowers when it's in bloom. It requires a well-drained soil and a frost-free climate, and it does its best receiving around 1,000 to 2,000 millimetres of rain a year. We're growing it in an area where we get about 1,000 millimetres a year, but we sometimes supplement with our own irrigation in dry times. We actually planted this turmeric from just a small root that we purchased from the store. We basically sprouted it on a windowsill and planted it in the food forest. We've now got it volunteering in the same spots every year, so we don't have to replant. But I understand that even though it's a perennial, you really do need to put in fresh turmeric roots every 3 or 4 years. Just a word of warning, turmeric will stain anything, and that includes hands, clothes, bench tops, utensils, and it'll stain it to quite a vibrant yellow colour. We found that by mixing baking soda into a paste and scrubbing it into the stain before washing does the trick for your clothes. Your hands can change a really bright hue of yellow, making it look like you've been a heavy smoker all your life. It wasn't a good look for our 12-year-old Hamish, so lucky there was no school the next day. So the next stage in the process is preparation. So to prepare fresh turmeric, you first need to cut off the large green stem and grab a knife and slice the root into fingers. That makes it a lot more manageable. And once you've got those manageable pieces, you can use a peeler or a paring knife to uncover its really colourful, earthy insides. It's then ready for you to use as you'd like. You can try it finely sliced or grated. It's a lot less fibrous than ginger, so it's much easier to grate. But for this video, as I was saying, we're going to show you how to make it into a powder that can be stored and used when you need it. We probably could have left the skin on for this process and sieved any large pieces out when the final product was blended, but for this we decided to take the skin off, but we might try leaving the skin on next time. So the next step in the process is slicing, and you'll want to slice the turmeric into thin, uniform pieces. We've only got quite a small dehydrator, so we were limited in the amount of room that we had available, but there is a number of different methods for drying, which we'll talk about next. Next step in the process is dehydrating the turmeric. The recommended drying temperature is 40 degrees Celsius for 4 hours. Our dehydrator is more like 30 degrees, so we left it on overnight. But I guess we would prefer to use less heat for longer to preserve as much goodness as possible in the turmeric. One of the main reasons for doing this is that you never know how long the powdered turmeric's been sitting on the shelves before you buy it. Doing this, you know that you've got the freshest product available. So yeah, I also hear that the dehydration process can be done in an oven if you don't have a dehydrator. So the next step in the process, once the turmeric has dried, is blending it into a fine powder. We blended ours in our Thermomix, which we've had, our trusty old Thermomix, for about 10 years, and we blended it on high speed for about 30 seconds. There's other techniques that you can use, like using a mortar and pestle or a mill, but the main thing is that you want to make sure that you blend or process the turmeric as soon as possible after drying it, so that it's still crisp and it hasn't absorbed too much moisture. Otherwise the powder could come out more like a paste. Once you've blended the turmeric, you'll want to sieve out any larger pieces for a more uniform powder. Well, I think you'll want to do that, but it's really personal preference. Once you've sieved the pieces, you can then blend those larger pieces again to get the most out of your harvest, if you like. So at the end of the day, we ended up with about 80 grams of powder from 1 kilogram of harvest product. I would say that 80 grams of powder will last our family about 6 months, as we tend to really only use it in our cooking. Ideally, you want to tightly pack the powder into an airtight glass container for storage. We've probably got a little bit too much airspace in this one, so you want to minimize any opportunity for oxidation. And that really is the last step in the process, and you're ready to enjoy some lovely fresh turmeric.
G'day everyone, my name's Hamish, and I hope you enjoyed our video on how to make homemade turmeric powder. I hope it helps you making your own turmeric powder, but also remember, be kind, use less, and have fun.